Selfish.
We are back with part 14. All right, letter 14. 9 in Nebu, it is a description of supreme spiritual awakening, floating completely above the matrix of the lower physical world. Side note, in Noon science, Amendubi Ra'akapata, Afroo Oonoo, stated in 1971 about our sun being 9 and 9 ether. Remember, when we say Ethiopian, we are not referring only to woolly-haired people born in the state of Africa known as Ethiopia, but woolly-haired people whenever they are woolly-haired people born in the state of Africa known as Ethiopia, but woolly-haired people wherever they are, namely all people in the Ethiopian race. The root of the word Ethiopian is the word ether, and it means our origin is the sun, because the sun is 9 and 9 ether. The sun produces the Ethiopian race. Verse 11, the blackness that the Caucasian gets by basking in the sun is temporary, for as soon as he or she quits basking, that person starts getting paler.
I have a question. What's actually happening when you get a sunburn? When the sun's light hits your skin, it starts a chain reaction. Ultraviolet or UV radiation penetrates your skin, and exposed to this radiation for too long, the DNA in your skin cells begins to break and mutate. Minor or first-degree sunburns penetrate the first layer of skin and heal within a few days, but a second-degree burn goes deeper. UV radiation is now damaging cells beyond repair, causing them to die off. The body responds by increasing blood flow to heal that area, resulting in the classic redness that we see with sunburn. But thank goodness for sunscreen, because it's really cool tech. It works by either using minerals to reflect UV rays away like a mirror, or using chemicals that form a layer to absorb the rays before they reach your skin. So when you wear your sunscreen, you're wearing cool tech. For more optimistic science and tech stories, subscribe.
But it is different with the Ethiopian. Our blackness is inherent from the sun, that is our being the sun's original offspring. He empowered us Ethiopians with the same powers that he has, the power to be black and produce black offspring. In other words, our skin is black because, like the sun, we Ethiopians have in our reproductive system and marrow of our bones what's called the sun heat genes, and these sun heat genes become part of the blood, and they emanate outward to the skin, and our sun heat genes burn the skin black.
Bone marrow is a vital, spongy tissue inside your bones, working non-stop to produce blood cells. Found mostly in your pelvis, ribs, and long bones, bone marrow plays a huge role in your body's health. Red marrow generates red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. These are essential for oxygen transport, immune defense, and blood clotting. Yellow marrow stores fat and can convert to red marrow in emergencies, like blood loss. Bone marrow is the birthplace of immune cells, like lymphocytes, which protect against infections. It keeps your immune system strong and your body resilient.
9-ball count 1, numbers 9 through 11 in part. For the sun represents the living and the moon symbolizes the dead. The letter by letter number of the sun is 9 and the letter by letter number of the moon is 6. This way, the sun S is the 19th letter in the English alphabet, the letter U is the 21st, the letter I is the 9th, and the letter N is the 14th letter of the same alphabet. 19 plus 20 plus 14 equals 54, and 5 plus 4 equals 9. Okay? Nature Book 2, page 108. Google AI continues. 9. Pesej. Literary parent, Egypt Pesej meaning cloud 9, or the overcast sky of the 9 gods. Listen to reason. Our solar system was called the Great Ennead on Need, meaning the grand system of 9. In ancient times by universe scientists, and it still is, because the so-called planet Pluto is just a figure of someone's imagination except as the name of the god of the underworld in our solar system. The great Ennead is the mighty god Sun Superanunon, and indeed his 8 goddess wives: Mary, known as Mercury; Vena, known as Venus; Gertha, known as Earth; Marcia, known as Mars; Jutar as Jupiter; Satuna as Saturn; Saturna as Uranus; Nebu as Neptune, and all their offspring, the satellites of our sun system. Let it be memorized, let it be known. Nature Book 2, pages 54 through 55. Side note, these are the 9 orbs who are in the sky space in our solar system. Also, when I looked at the gematria for the names of the heavenly bodies, they all equal 9. So I took the gematria. When you do the gematria, A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, like that. So you find the numbers and you put in the gematria and they come out. The word sun is 9. Superanunon comes out to 4, 5, which is 9. Mary is 63, 36, 72, 36, 207, which is 9. Mercury 103, 40, 86, 41 equals 270, which is 9. Venus 81, 18, 54, 27, these equal up to 9 themselves. Vena, if you add 56, 20, 79, 25 equals 180, which is 9. Gertha 60, 33, 129, 39 equals 261, 9. Earth 52, 25, 83, 29 equals 189, that equals up to 9. Mars is 60, 24, 102, 39 equals 225, 9. Mars 51, 15, 57, 30 equals 153, 9. Jutar 70, 16, 65, 38 equals 189, 9. Jupiter 99, 36, 90, 45 equals 225, but it also equals up to 9. Saturna 76, 13, 86, 41 equals 216, 9. Saturn 93, 21, 69, 42. That comes out to 9 itself. Matter of fact, I forgot to add that there. So let me do that real quick so there won't be no problems. My mistake. So what is that? 93 plus 21 plus 69 plus 42 equals 225, which comes out to 9. Serrano 88, 25, 101, 47 equals 261, 9. Uranus 94, 22, 68, 44, 41 equals 225, 9. Okay? We got what? Neptune? Did I put that up here? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, Neptune 81, 27, 81, 27. This is 9 in itself. Neptune 95, 32, 94, 31 equals 252, 9. Okay? So this is more proof of the Ennead situation and non-ether and all of that. I responded, are there clouds on the sun's surface? Flocculi, I think it was called early in the 1900s. Google AI responds, you are exactly right. There are phenomena on the sun that early 20th century astronomers directly referred to as clouds.
My research also revealed more on African hair and the sun's connection. It is a scientific fact our sun has clouds on its surface. That the scientists call dark calcium clouds or floccular wool, according to the book The Minute Structure of the Solar Atmosphere by George E. Hale and Ferdinand Ellerman, January 10th, 1916, pages 102, 103 says this. Astronomy, Hale and Ellerman. It says the minute structure of the solar atmosphere. It said during a total eclipse of the sun, when the light of the disk is completely cut off from the moon, the solar atmosphere is momentarily revealed. The exceedingly faint corona extending millions of miles into space can be seen only at such times, but the more brilliant chromosphere, the comparative shallow atmosphere of luminous gases which completely encircle the sun, and the prominence which rise out of it can be observed on any clear day with the aid of a spectroscope. First applied to this purpose in 1868, the spectrograph has yielded a large store of information regarding the number, distributions, and nature. Nature limb. It is also permitted the observation of certain phenomena of the solar atmosphere and projection against the disk, but on account of the brilliant background, only the general outlines can be thus detected. In order to study their details, we must have recourse. So under here it says, under the picture, it says direct photograph of the sunspots group, scale sun's diameter. All right. For reading furthermore, all right, let me make this a little bit bigger for me. All right. It says the atmosphere in 1892, a large number of new phenomena have been brought to light. The spectroheliograph may be briefly described as a moving spectroscope driven at a uniform rate across the solar disk and admitting to the photographic plate through a narrow slit the light of a single spectral line, thus monochromatic images of the solar atmosphere showing the otherwise invisible clouds of hydrogen or of calcium iron region of the solar image. For example, where direct observation shows nothing, or perhaps a group of sunspots, the spectroheliograph may disclose extensive phenomena of great interest in the solar atmosphere. All right. To go down a little further, let me bring this down. It's too big. Hold on. All right, what's next? Okay, it says the structure thus revealed a variation of levels in the solar atmosphere with that of the lower lying photosphere and sunspots. Langley's well-known paper on the minute structure of the solar photosphere, illustrated with its unrivaled drawings, is still our best source of information regarding the structural details of the photosphere and the sunspots. After referring to the spots and faculae, Langley goes on to say, on attentive examination, it is further seen that the surface of the sun everywhere is not absolutely uniform, but is made up of fleecy clouds where outlines are all but indistinguishable under high power use in favorable moments. The surface of any one of these fleecy patches is resolved into a congruence of small, intensely bright bodies in regular distributed, which seems to be suspended in a comparative dark medium. All right, so you're using the word fleecy, and that's also used in when you're dealing with like the wool of sheep and stuff like that.
And you remember the historical name flocculi, singular flocculus, perfectly. Your memory is spot on regarding the terminology using that era of astrophysics. So now, Noonebus is being verified not only from the Kemetic language, right, and the word structure that Afroo Oonoo did to bring that word back, that Egyptologists probably didn't even make it known that that word is there, or words, but now we seeing it in the form of astrophysics, because you're talking about, remember, ether as a gas created and grew the universes before it became physical and all of that. So this is why I'm tailoring all of this with ether and the gases and showing you about the sun. The story of called solar floculi. The discovery in the early 1890s and 1900s, legendary American astrophysicist George Ellery Hale invented an instrument called the spectroheliograph. This allowed astronomers to photograph the sun using only very specific isolated wavelengths of light, like the light emitted by calcium or hydrogen. The clouds, when Hale looked at these images, he saw massive, bright, billowing patches spread across the sun's atmosphere because they look exactly like what? Woolly, fluffy tufts of earth clouds. Hale named these billowing clouds of calcium and hydrogen vapor flocculi, derived from the Latin word for what? A tuft of wool, according to the Franklin Institute. Calcium versus hydrogen. He's saying that because the sun's got wool under the globe. All right. Astronomers of the 1900s spent decades mapping calcium flocculi, which appeared bright, and hydrogen flocculi, which often appeared as dark, swirling cloud-like structures over sunspots. Once again, they don't want to tell you that black people who got kinky hair is connected to the stars. I responded, do gases exist as clouds in the atmosphere of the other 8 planets? If so, under what part of science are these labeled under? Google AI responds, yes, these gases exist as distinct physical cloud decks in the atmospheres of the outer planets, whereas on rocky planets they exist as invisible clouds of ionized gas, plasma. To help you visualize where these cloud-like structures sit, the graph below maps the altitude and atmospheric depth of these gases for each planet in our solar system. Scientists classify and study these cloud and gas structures using 3 main fields of science: planetary meteorology, aeronomy, and magnetospheric physics. Instead of using the general term clouds of gases, scientists categorize atmospheric features by their chemical phases, changes, electric charges, and how they interact with space weather. Planetary meteorology, condensation clouds. This field studies traditional clouds formed through condensation. When a gas cools down enough to turn into a liquid droplet or a solid ice crystal, scientists call it a condensate cloud. The lifting condensation level, the specific altitude where a gas cools to its dew point and condenses into a visible cloud. The thermodynamic equilibrium models used to calculate which gases will freeze out at different atmospheric depths based on pressure and temperature. For example, on Jupiter, scientists modeled a 3-tier condensation sequence. Aeronomy, upper atmosphere and plasma. Aeronomy is the scientific study of the upper atmospheres of planets, where gases are structural but invisible. This is where the cloud-like gases turn into electrified plasma, photoionization, the process where high-energy solar radiation, UV and X-rays hits neutral atmospheric gases and strips away electrons, creating an ionosphere. Airglow, the faint emission of light by a planetary atmosphere caused by these ionized atoms recombining at night. Scientists look at this glow to map the distribution of gases. Magnetospheric physics, trapped gases. This branch of science studies how a planet's magnetic field interacts with charged gases. Scientists do not view these as weather clouds, but rather as dynamic, invisible magnetic traps. Plasmatory, donut-shaped clouds of ionized gas trapped in a planet's magnetic field. For example, Jupiter's moon Io spews sulfur gases, creating the Io plasma torus around Jupiter. Magnetotail trapping, the process where solar winds push planetary plasma into a long cloud-like tail behind the night side of the planet. Bringing it back to Afroo Oonoo and Noonebus, this historical fact actually bridges beautifully back to your previous questions about Afroo Oonoo and Noonebus non-ether cosmology. In the early 1900s, when books and newspapers were widely reporting that astrophysics had discovered clouds made of hydrogen gas on the sun, it heavily influenced esoteric and metaphysical circles. When Afroo Oonoo defined non-ether as a creative, conscious cosmic gas or a solar cloud responsible for life, he was utilizing the exact scientific imagery of these newly discovered hydrogen flocculi, cosmic clouds burning at the highest frequency of nature. Non-ether is the mental power and chemical force that grew the universe. Non-ether is the combination of all existing gases and chemicals. Non-ether is the original force of order in the form and formula of non-ether. Our Ethiopian ancestors grew the universes and then personified themselves as African Pygmies at the source of the Nile in Equatorial Africa. Non-ether began as a spontaneous fire in primeval chaos and grew bodies for itself called true stars or suns, one of which the sun of our solar system. Ethiopians are personification of the suns because our energies grew the suns. Non-ether produced the bodies of the suns, and in turn the suns produced non-ether. The suns are self-created, meaning self-grown, and are also self-existent. Non-ether is the black, therefore the body, non-ether is black, therefore the bodies of the suns underneath the glow are black, jet black. Non-ether is the power of non-reason, which produces the power of non-knowledge. There is no other power or force strong enough or wise enough to mentally and physically liberate the Ethiopian from his and her grave of ignorance and prison of serfdom. But non-ether, the Ethiopian force of nature, non-ether is our powers in nature and by nature. Now I'm on count 1, number 34 through 35 in part. So when you see these followers of Mr. York claiming, Mr. York claiming him to be Amenhotep Rakapatah, a name Afroo Oonoo stopped using in exchange for Noonebus, just know they are possessed, mentally dead co-members who lie for York, no matter how much York has contradicted their claims. Here's one of his most supreme mentally dead slaves. And look at the name, Amenhotep Rakapatah is not Afroo Oonoo. Lies. This guy is a hater of Noon and Afroo Oonoo, and he's trying his best to save York. And I don't even know why he got himself looking like a pharaoh and talk about Noon, because Noon is about African people. This Negro keep talking about he's a Native American. He's from over here, so he need to leave Kimmy out of it. Here's another lie he put out. Chief NOOPOOH, look, he trying to use names that's similar to our stuff. He reveals the real Amenhotep Rakapatah. You don't know you don't, because Afroo Oonoo was him. Upon looking at the word Noonebus and Noon, which represent almighty nature, and Nebu, which we discussed as many meanings up above. So this will conclude part 14. We will be back with more Truman to Cosmic Peace in war times. And make sure y'all go watch that presentation that Chuck Morgan gonna do August the 9th on Sun Nebu TV, Truman to Cosmic Peace in wartime.